Joanna looked up at me, tears still streaming down her cheeks. Alexander, my parents died early. Your family raised me like their own. So your parents, your sister, they are my family too. I'm not giving up on them. If you can't get the money by the deadline, then I'll have no choice but to agree to Joel's terms. Please don't hate me. I had no idea what to say. Let my woman become another man's, or watch my family die right in front of me. These weren't choices. This wasn't a choice at all. I had to find another way. I had to survive this. Don't worry, I will get the money. I forced a smile to calm her, wiping away Joanna's tears, but deep down, I made myself a silent promise. If I can't raise the money, then I'll use any means necessary to save my family. And after that, I'll wipe Joel's entire bloodline off this earth. For Joanna, for my family, I'll erase every last obstacle. I took Joanna home, then made a few phone calls to my old brothers in arms. I didn't say much, just a few words. Meet up. Time to make money. And by meet up, I meant at the company. Our company runs private security specifically for import or export cargo ships. To be allowed to carry firearms on board, we had to register the business overseas. We board ships outside the country, and the weapons are considered privately carried. Thanks to our protection, many ships in a city have never been raided again. We made good money, but it came at a cost. We earned it with our lives. All the guys who followed me had nothing holding them back. No families, no women. The four I just called, they had no one left in their lives. Inside the company's conference room, 5 of us sat smoking in silence. The air was so heavy it felt like it could crush you. After finishing his cigarette, Lao Ki, who had a scar running down his face, leaned back in his chair and said, "If we want to make money fast, it's easy. But I've worn the uniform. I don't want to screw over civilians." Pablo adjusted his glasses. "Then let's go for dirty money." A burly guy with a deep voice rumbled. "What's that mean? I don't get it." Elio scratched his thick beard and grinned. "Black Bear, you know the abandoned docks at East Harbor? Those containers there, they've been turned into illegal casinos. Tons of cash inside." Their eyes all lit up at once. They turned to me, waiting. I stood up, crushed my cigarette in the ashtray, and said coldly, "I'll handle the killing. The rest of you don't go for the throat." Chapter. For 2 hours later, the 5 of us arrived at the abandoned East Harbor dock. By then, night had fallen. Plenty of people were patrolling the container yard. We were spotted quickly, but Elio simply said, "Old Wang sent us." That was enough. They let us through. Elio was a gambler. Most of the money he made, he gambled away. So he knew this place inside out. Soon, we stepped inside one of the containers. From the outside, it looked like any other regular container. But inside, it opened into a large space packed with people. Gambling tables were stacked with chips. These gamblers exchanged cash for chips at the door and would cash out when leaving, which meant this place held a lot of cash. Elio led us up several floors until we reached the 3rd level. He said that's where the boss's office was. The 3rd floor had tons of VIP rooms. According to Elio, the games here were high-stakes. Millions could be won or lost in a single round. At the far end was the office. I knocked. A gruff voice inside barked, "Come in." I twisted the handle, unlocked. Inside, 4 mahjong tables were set up, each filled with players in the middle of a game. A big bald guy looked up at Elio. "Elio, you bringing some friends to play?" Elio shook his head, smirking slyly. "Sorry, Baldy. You've pissed off Mr. Koo. I'm here to teach you a lesson." "Koo who?" "Which Koo?" "I didn't piss off anybody." Baldy looked totally confused, but we didn't bother answering. We moved. We only brought batons, used them to strike joints. 1 hit to the elbow or knee and they were done. The ones who resisted hardest, I went all in. I'd assumed that if these guys could run a casino, they wouldn't be pushovers. I was wrong. They folded like paper. Baldy even hid behind his desk, hands raised. "Elio, we go way back, man. Let's make a deal. I'll give you money. You can tell that Koo guy you beat me up. Sound good?" Elio looked at me, waiting for my call. I raised an eyebrow. "How much are we talking here? You do realize Mr. Koo must have paid us well to take care of you." Baldy held up a hand. "There's 5 of you. 1 mil each. Let me walk without a scratch." "Fair enough." I paused, then nodded. "Bag it up." We tossed our duffel bags toward him. Without hesitation, Baldy slid aside a painting of 8 horses on the wall, revealing a hidden safe. He opened it. It was stuffed with cash. Honestly, I wanted to take it all, but I wasn't that greedy. And this money, once I got through this storm, I planned to return it to Baldwin.s. Baldy worked. Low-key and Black Bear stood beside him, watching like hawks, ready for any sudden moves like pulling a gun. You guys clearly came to get cash, Baldy said, chuckling. Otherwise, why bring bags, right? He laughed, but his hands never stopped. I frowned and tightened my grip on the baton. Maybe we should silence him, but Baldy seemed to read my mind. Ale, I know you. You're a security company in a city, the most feared one around. You guys rule those chaotic waters and have some overseas pull too. I've looked into you. That caught me off guard. Why look into me? Baldy stopped packing money, motioned for Low-key and Black Bear to continue, then came over and handed each of us a cigarette. I pissed off a lot of people taking over this place, he said. Plenty of folks lost everything gambling here. Some of them have very sensitive backgrounds. Let's just say lots of people want me dead. I've been planning to run for a while, but I know it won't be safe out there. So I thought if Ale and his security crew had my back overseas, I'd be untouchable. That's why I've been doing my homework on you. He grinned wide. Of course, anyone who runs an underground casino like this can't be simple. I patted his shoulder. Whether you go legit or sneak out, I can make it happen. Let me settle my business first, then I'll make sure you get out. Baldy just smiled knowingly. You mentioned Mr. Koo earlier. You must have pissed off the Koo Corporation, right? In other words, he was implying I might not live to pull this off. I just sneered. If worst comes to worst, none of us will be in this country anymore. Wiping out the entire Koo family wouldn't even be that hard. Baldy gave me a thumbs up. Then I'll be waiting on you, Ale, not long after. We took the money and left carefully. Baldy didn't make things difficult for us at all. As soon as I had the cash, I rushed to the hospital. I paid the bills, then headed to the room, but as soon as I opened the door, I saw my parents and little sister sitting on the windowsill. The window, which should have had a safety rail, now had none. Mom? Dad? Sis? I shouted. My parents turned to me, tears already in their eyes. My sister looked back and smiled with heartbreaking sadness. Chapter 5. At that moment, I saw a phone on the bedside table. On the screen was Joel. He saw me and waved mockingly. Well, Alexander, you really know how to surprise me. You actually went and robbed an underground casino. But now that you've got the money, does that mean you can save your family? Then he stepped aside from the camera, and behind him I saw Joanna tied to a chair, mouth gagged. You son of a bitch, I yelled. Joel leaned back into the frame, stomping his feet in glee, laughing like a maniac, tears streaming down his face. Ha 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 ha. Alexander, you think just because you have the money you're free from the Yeah, no doubt about it, now it was him. Which also meant Megan had known Owen for at least 2 years, maybe even longer. Then Owen sent a photo. When I opened it, my hands went cold. It was Megan, topless, asleep in a hotel bed, a man's hand on her chest. In the bottom right corner, a date, 20-3-16. I felt bile rise up. February 16, 2023. That was the day my dad had his first surgery after falling ill. Megan had told me she was crazy busy all month, traveling for work, postponing meetings just to be there for me. She'd spend every possible moment on video calls with me, soothing me, telling me it was going to be okay, when I couldn't sleep from worry, she stayed on the call with me through the night. On the morning of the 16th, she told me she could only sneak away for a few hours to be with me outside the surgery room, but apparently, in that jam-packed schedule, she still found time for a quickie with Owen, and then she came back to me and looked me in the eye as if nothing had happened. I couldn't breathe. Seeing I hadn't replied, Owen seemed to enjoy himself even more. He sent several more photos, each with neat little timestamps: our wedding anniversary, our daughter's birthday. Every time she had spent her first moments with Owen, then came home to me and Gina. The disgust was overwhelming. It swallowed the pain whole. I'd thought Megan had only grown distant over the last 6 months, like she'd gotten bored with our peaceful life, or maybe found true love in middle age. But no, the rot had been there from the start. I went to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, then sat at my computer and saved every single piece of evidence. I knew why Owen felt so bold. The divorce settlement, $20 million, still wasn't fully paid. Megan had sent $8 million in the past 2 weeks, but there was still $12 million left. She'd said it would take time. The house and car were in my name, fully paid off. Our agreement was clean and simple: no fights, no mess, as long as she stuck to it. If I blew up now, it'd hurt her company, sure, but it'd also hurt Gina. Megan probably expected me to react when she admitted to cheating, but I've always been about keeping it classy. I wasn't going to storm her office and lose my temper. That's what threw Owen off. Not only was I not making a scene, I wasn't even confronting Megan. He knew whoever lost control first lost, but here's the strange part: he'd managed to stay hidden for years, even fooled everyone at the company for 6 months. So why crack now? We were just 2 weeks from signing the divorce papers. Why start this fight now? Just because Megan came over to visit Gina? I checked the time, it wasn't too late. I called Nigel. He was out having dinner with some colleagues, and they were already gossiping about Megan and Owen. We swapped stories, and I learned something new. 2 weeks ago, Megan got drunk at an event. Some handsome CEO personally drove her home and had even asked her out privately a few times afterward. And since I hadn't dropped by the office this week with her afternoon tea, rumors started that Megan and I were fighting. Word spread that she was going to be single again soon. Cue the flood of eager guys trying to make a move. That's when Owen started losing his cool. "Julian, you're such a great guy, really," Nigel told me. "I didn't want to hide this from you. Don't be upset. Megan's gorgeous and sharp, sure, but she's a piece of work. You'll meet someone amazing. Heck, forget women for now. Your caffei's gonna blow up. Then you can think about women." He made me laugh, even though my chest was heavy. I thanked him and told him I'd keep moving forward. By the time we hung up, it was past midnight. My calendar reminder glowed. 14 days till the divorce. Thanks to Nigel, I got it now. Owen's been pushing Megan to take him to the general office so he can lock in his position. But now that others are circling Megan, he feels threatened, like his cooked goose might fly away. He's scared. Tonight's stunt, making Megan leave Gina to go back to work, was just another flare of insecurity. He thought sending me those photos would make me blow up at Megan, so she'd see me as the problem and pull back from other men. Before tonight, I had no intention of getting involved. But since he insists on being disgusting, fine, I'll grant him his wish. I didn't block him. I didn't mute him. First thing the next morning, I asked Megan out to dinner. She was surprised, but agreed. I picked the same restaurant where she'd celebrated my birthday all those years ago, back when we were in college. It used to be a tiny stir-fry place. Now it had doubled in size and was thriving. Her flashy luxury car parked outside looked completely out of place in the old alley. Back then, that restaurant was the best she could afford. She'd worked countless part-time shifts just to buy me a watch and treat me to that dinner. I looked at her, now polished in a tailored suit, and thought about that sincere, smiling girl who had long since faded away. I didn't book a private room. I sat us by the street, where the sunlight was warm. Neither of us said much at first. After ordering, she carefully rinsed my chopsticks and bowl in hot water. While eating, she kept complaining the taste was off. She even called the boss over. Turned out his dad was still the chef. She looked a little surprised, but didn't comment further. I had the spicy stir-fried pork, and it tasted just like before. I joked, "You've changed." "Really?" she asked. "Of course. Over the years, you've tried so much, eaten so much. This little restaurant's nothing special anymore." But to me, it's the same as it's always been. She paused, went quiet for a while, then said, Julian, I'm sorry. I gave a small wry smile. People move on. I'm learning that from you. She tried gently. You've got nothing. You want to ask? Would you even tell me if I did? I said. Would you admit that while my dad was in surgery, you were with Owen? Megan, you'd never say it. She went silent, sighed softly, then asked if I needed something. I kept my voice even, told her I needed some cash, and asked if she could send the remaining 12 million soon. Her expression softened. Julian, even if you're just asking for money today, I'm happy. I didn't think that after all these years, I'd move forward. And you'd still be here. I'll send you the money promptly. If you need anything, just ask. After she left, I paid the bill and sent a thank you bonus to the owner for helping me with a small favor earlier. He'd told Megan the truth that although his dad was still the chef, other cooks worked in the kitchen now. The stir-fried pork? Not made by her dad. Similar taste, but definitely not the same. It was normal for her to notice something different. I just wanted her to feel that little jolt of superiority that she'd moved on. While I still remembered the past, when she softened up, it'd be easier to negotiate terms. After leaving the restaurant, I headed to a private studio I'd contacted the night before. They'd messaged me that afternoon it was ready. They handed me a dossier, Owen's dossier, age 41, married, with kids 1, age 12. His wife works in a factory in the neighboring city, Door. Besides that, Owen's main contact over the past 2 years had been with his brother, and his brother even knew about Megan. Honestly, I was floored when I saw this info. I'd always known Owen's age, but at work he claimed he was divorced. Turns out, not only was he married, but he already had a kid. And the kicker, he's still not divorced. I asked the head of the private studio if the dossier was legit. He gave me this smug okay gesture. You can count on me, he said. Just nod, and I can send it right away. No need, I told him. I hadn't dug this up to warn Megan. In fact, I was hoping Owen could keep hiding his wife, at least until my divorce was done. I'd underestimated him. I thought he was just trying to pull Megan into the spotlight as his side chick. But nope, this was a long con. A romance scam 2 years in the making, and he'd almost pulled it off. There's no way he'd let anyone else swoop in now. I circled the date on my calendar. 13 days until the divorce. When the remaining 12 million hit my account, I was knee-deep in the soft opening of my coffee shop. I'd tweaked the interior style a bit, set up some coupon promos, and so far it was running pretty well. A friend asked if buying everything outright at once was risky. I told them business is never perfectly smooth. Unexpected things happen. There are ups, there are downs. Who knows how long the good run lasts? I'd rather get it all done at once than deal with monthly payments. They nodded. Makes sense. What's in your hand is what's real. Even Nigel stopped by during his break for a coffee. He said Megan had just landed a big deal and was busy negotiating. Owen had shown up at work with a designer bag, acting all modest. Clearly, Megan was smoothing him over with gifts. But Owen's patience was just an investment. He wanted more. That seed Megan planted years ago. Maybe it was about to be harvested, like That day at the restaurant with Megan while we were eating, I saw Owen lurking outside at the corner. That night, he sent me even more provocative pictures, this time boldly showing half his face. I'd already packed everything up, ready to send it to his wife as soon as I had that divorce certificate in hand after sorting the files. My doorbell rang. When I opened the door, there he was, Owen. His hair dyed, wearing the same cologne I use. The moment the door opened, he was all provocation. "Julian, sorry Megan's household register got left here. I'm here to pick it up." He tried to step inside. I blocked him. When Megan and I agreed to divorce, she took the register with her. "Oh, really? Maybe Megan got it wrong." He smirked. "Honestly, I also came to see you. Megan doesn't know, but do I? You're using retreats to your advantage, tempting people." "Really?" I asked. "So you think hanging around my circle for 2 years means you know me?" He chuckled, pushed my hand away, and glanced around the room. "Julian," I thought, "you didn't care. Not long after Megan left, you changed the place. Afraid you'd get upset?" Just then, my daughter woke from the noise and called out, "Dad, is Mom here?" Owen gave this low chuckle. "Gina, I'm Owen. Your mom's in a meeting. She won't be back today." "Tomorrow?" "Maybe not either." I ignored him, clenched my fist, and went in to comfort my daughter. She looked up at me, a little hurt. I promised her a trip to the amusement park tomorrow and told her to sleep early. When I came out, Owen was still in my living room, sipping wine like he owned the place. I knew exactly what he was up to. In a few days, it would be Megan's mom's birthday, a trip we'd always made together. Megan had even called me earlier, asking if I could go again this year, but Owen didn't want me there. Megan's family home is far, even after her parents moved into town. Going would stir up old memories, and he was scared of that. He wanted me provoked so he could bad-mouth me to Megan. Perfect timing, really. I'd been looking for a clean excuse to turn Megan down after getting the $20 million. I walked right up to him, looked down, and slapped him hard. He laughed. "Nothing special. So your usual indifference is fake, huh? How does it feel, losing a girl to me?" I took his wine cup, grabbed his collar with one hand, covered his mouth with the other, and dragged him toward the door. He struggled, but I threw him out. "Owen, you got what you wanted. Go ahead, complain to Megan. And if that's not enough, I can punch you again." He pointed at me angrily. "You're crazy." He rolled up his sleeves like he was about to charge, but I pulled out my phone and started recording. His expression changed. He grabbed his phone and called Megan. I glanced at the date. Calm, anticipating the end of this little drama. 10 days until the divorce. Megan called soon after, her voice tense with annoyance. She asked why I'd hit him. "Even if Owen was wrong, just throw him out next time," she said. "Making a scene like this complicates things if Owen doesn't settle privately and calls the police." I laughed. "Let him. He trespassed first, then acted immorally. Doesn't a mistress expect to get hit when they show up to provoke? He even tried to upset our daughter, hinted you wouldn't have time for her. Megan, our daughter is my bottom line. My hope and yours too." I hung up before she could answer. Then I texted her, turning down the trip to her hometown. I felt relieved. Right after, my private studio guy called. Owen had just phoned his wife, saying he'd give her some money and get a divorce. They were planning to finalize it next week, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sooner or later, he was going to come up short. Looked like he was pushing Megan to close the deal fast. The studio head and I sighed. Owen's a piece of work. Can't stick to one thing. 2 years circling Megan, and just when it counts, he shakes things up. He kept going with his analysis. Maybe he never felt the heat before. Laying low was exciting. But now, with Megan about to make a move and better guys around, he's nervous. I sipped my coffee. Maybe, after that day, Owen's alt account stopped messaging me. Nigel swung by for coffee with some news. Owen had gone as Megan's secretary to her mom's birthday. When he came back, he'd toned down a lot. Looked like Megan had given him some reassurance. Nigel asked what I thought. "It's fine," I said. He stared. "Really? Some homewrecker taking over?" I nodded. "She found her karma in the crowd." "That's fair. Today was the grand opening of the newly revamped cafe, so I posted the milestone online. Circled the date, 5 days to divorce. I got so wrapped up in opening prep that I barely looked at my phone. Later, scrolling through messages, I saw Megan had sent her congratulations earlier. I deleted it and scheduled our divorce meeting. It took a while, but she replied, "Want to talk it over?" After the paperwork, I messaged her back. There was a long pause, then her okay. 10 a.m. I said next. Cool. Outside, nothing had changed. Inside, the decor had a fresh start, a little hope. I packed away all the photos Owen had sent me. 2 days until divorce. The day came. Megan arrived half an hour late. Quick small talk, then we signed. Holding the divorce papers, she looked off for a moment, then quickly masked it. Invited me to lunch. No, I said. Got things to do. I didn't look back at her. Outside, I mailed all of Owen's photos to his wife. A month went by in a blink. Nigel dropped in again. You posted the divorce on your social media, he said. Captioned it, feels like a dream. 2 more months now. He'd brought snacks. Planning to stress eat after quitting, but now I don't have to. You enjoy them. I made him coffee. What's the good news? He grinned. No more Owen breathing down my neck. Just last week, he hinted about making it official with Megan. I even had my resignation letter ready. Then today, some woman stormed into the office, clawing at Owen, yelling he was cheating, asking where Megan was, saying she's a homewrecker. At first, everyone tried to stop her. Then she pulled out a bunch of nasty photos. Everyone backed off. Megan stayed in her office. Later, her secretary claimed the woman faked the pics and she got booted. Some folks had tailed her, probably to hash things out. Looks like Megan's not marrying Owen anymore. She hates feeling like she's been played, and coupled with the scandal, it hit her hard. Despite all her damage control, the other company caught wind of everything and trashed her reputation, even pulling down her endorsement images. She paid off Owen's wife to come clean and apologize for the fake accusations. Owen quit too. Rumor has it he's divorced now, and his ex walked away with a pretty penny. Megan came by a couple of times to see the kid. She looked exhausted. Sometimes she'd hint at staying for dinner, but I wasn't having it. At the door, she hesitated. Julian, any chance for us to start over? I just shut the door in her face. Every call from a friend these days turns into some kind of blind date offer. I always politely decline. Right now, making money feels far more reliable. Julian, you've got to keep faith in love, they urge. I'm not exactly disappointed, just impartial. Not long after, a friend brought this classy woman into my cafe. We had a brief, pleasant introduction. We're both busy bees, so we hardly talk. My friend kept getting anxious. Julian, you're not into this, Gem? I chuckled. Just tied up. My friend sighed. I went back to crunching numbers for opening another shop. Half a year later, that woman posted her marriage certificate online. I quietly liked it. Turns out, her company is now a regular at my cafe, and her husband's hooked on my blend. They say he won't drink anything else. I'm thrilled at the big new client.
Then I placed it in her dish to cool. But the next second, Makoto snatched the meat from Willow's plate and popped it into his mouth. Yep, definitely cooked. The chatter around us froze. Even the air seemed to stall. I frowned. Did this man have no shame? Makoto acted as if nothing had happened, reaching for Willow's coat beside her. Willow, it's cold. Let me put this on you. She reacted instantly, yanking it back with a sharp, "Get lost." She even patted it off as though wiping away his touch, but Makoto just kept playing the familiar suitor. Girls shouldn't be so fierce. Here, let me take a sip of your water and we'll call it even, okay? Before Willow could react, he had already twisted open her bottle and taken a swig. Her face darkened immediately. I feared she might actually slap him right there in front of the cameras, so I cut in quickly. Willow, I want hot water. She froze for half a second, then set the blanket down and headed toward the van. Her long legs, nearly 1.76 meters, drew every gaze as she walked away. Moments later, she came back carrying my blue thermos. Makoto sneered, sarcasm dripping from his tone. Tsk. Some people really think they're the actress's husband. If you're so great, why don't you go public? In shock, I clamped my hand over his mouth. Was this man looking for death? Going public about Willow being my wife was her biggest taboo, and right now, she was already on the verge of exploding. Sure enough, the very next day, Makoto was officially blacklisted across the entire internet. The production team was ordered to halt filming until he was replaced, and he was slapped with a massive penalty fee for breaching his contract. Both he and his fans were left completely dumbstruck. Wait, what's going on here? Did I time travel? Or something? I wake up and the pretty boy is already banned? Breaking news. Word is the top actress did it. He offended Willow, the film queen. Hold up. Wasn't it just yesterday people said the two were secretly married? Could they actually be hidden enemies? Holy crap. Makoto just went, "Live, everyone go watch." I glanced at Willow, who was still on the phone personally ordering Makoto's ban, and out of curiosity clicked into his live stream too. On the screen, he appeared with messy bed hair and a haggard face. Clearly he hadn't slept all night. His eyes were bloodshot as he said, "I was framed. Someone shamelessly seduced my wife and even made her blacklist me. I don't want to live anymore." The bullet comments exploded. Wait, what? His wife. Don't tell me he's talking. About Willow? And who's the seducer, isn't it George? Don't be fooled, guys, there's no evidence. Exactly. Hate it when people throw around half-baked claims, show proof or shut up. I thought the backlash would rattle him, force him to back down. But instead, he sighed dramatically. I didn't want to be so high profile, but since you're all so curious, I guess I'll just have to satisfy your curiosity. I rolled my eyes, wondering what other nonsense he'd cook up, when the next scene stunned the entire internet. From a drawer beneath him, he slowly pulled out a marriage certificate on it, 2 names, Makoto and Willow. The internet went wild, but I only smirked, eyes fixed on his little self-directed drama, because behind me, Willow, still on the phone, was radiating a terrifying, icy aura. She stared at my screen, hand clutching her phone so tightly her knuckles turned pale. I sneered. Inwardly, that so-called marriage certificate must have been bought off some shady online shop. Makoto, you just signed your own death warrant. Makoto thought he was clever, putting on a little performance for the world. But what he didn't realize was that he had stepped squarely on Willow's biggest landmine. Originally, his punishment would have just been a ban and a penalty fee for breaching his contract. But thanks to Willow's intervention, things escalated beyond anything he could have imagined. Her voice was icy as she gave rapid-fire orders over the phone, a full investigation into Makoto's past. The moment I heard that, I knew Makoto was finished. Because no struggling celebrity who clawed their way up could survive a deep dig into their past. Sure enough, within half an hour, countless files on Makoto were laid out on Willow's desk. I skimmed through a few with interest. Back in middle school, he'd been publicly shamed for being a homewrecker. In high school, he cheated on mock exams. In college, he did side gigs flirting and gaming with wealthy women for money. It was all there. I couldn't help but marvel at Willow's power, able to dig up dirt this specific in just 30 minutes. Usually when stars rose in fame, their managers and agencies scrubbed their records clean. But under Willow's thunderous commands, everything came crawling back into the light. To the public, Willow had always been that icy, ruthless figure. Yet Makoto was dumb enough to cling to her, trying to leech off her name. Now, he'd set himself on fire. Who else could he blame? Willow picked up one of the documents and gave a few cold instructions into the phone. Release the contents of Attachment 4 and Attachment 11. No need to mobilize water armies. He's crossed the bottom line for artists. No one will tolerate him again. He wanted attention? Then let's give him all he asked for. I glanced at the contents of Attachments 4 and 11. and any last shred of pity I had for Makoto completely vanished. Attachment 4. Makoto acted as agent and livestream host, selling fraudulent skincare products while pocketing up to 85% commissions. Attachment 11. Multiple students became victims, their faces ruined, their skin destroyed. Makoto and his team suppressed reviews and harassed victims online, leaving them no way to seek compensation. Several were later diagnosed with depression. I thought the whole incident was over, but I didn't expect the flames to spread to me after. Arranging everything, Willow leaned over and pressed me down on the sofa. Her long hair fell across my shoulders, carrying a faint pine fragrance, refreshing and soothing, like winter sunlight, both warming and alluring. But beneath her willow leaf brows, her dark eyes burned with an unrestrained fire. Her lips pressed tightly together, her gaze overflowing with possessiveness. And then, finally, she kissed me fiercely. I was scared out of my mind. Willow, restrain yourself. We're still filming the show. Someone could walk in any moment. But she didn't hear a word. Instead, one hand cupped the back of my neck, deepening the kiss. George, let's go public. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. I remembered vividly. Once upon a time, I had begged her the same way, but she had rejected me. I cupped her face, my expression cold. Why? This had always been the thorn in my heart. Finally, I voiced it. She lowered her head, kissing my forehead with reverence, as though I were a radiant treasure above her. Because the Willow you love is finally a film queen now. She's finally worthy of you. So that's what it was. My girl, she had been working so hard all along. A tear slipped from the corner of my eye. I laughed through the joy, sliding, my arms gently around her waist. Fool, you've always been worthy. This time I kissed her back, taking the lead. At that exact moment, the door opened. The other guests and staff of the show filed in. But we kept kissing, oblivious. This was Willow's intention all along, her little scheme to show the world I was hers. After all, I had clearly seen the little message she had secretly sent the director just now. Forget it. She's my wife. I'll indulge her. The other guests were stunned. The staff were stunned. And as for why the dating show, paused because of Makoto, suddenly resumed recording, well, that was because Willow, the sponsor who had invested $20 million, said so. Only then did Willow rise slowly, her face soft and gentle. George is actually my husband. We've been married for 2 years. Those words shattered every lingering fantasy. The director seized the moment. Then why did you decide to go public now? Willow looked at him calmly. I wanted to use this opportunity to announce it, but my schedule was too full. I could only come now. Willow, the international film queen, the goddess of countless fans, now leaned against me openly in front of the cameras and everyone present. Her eyes brimmed with affection, nearly overflowing. I've kept you waiting too long, my mister. Wong, I smiled back. It's fine, my Miss Willow. What about that marriage certificate Makoto showed? What's the deal with him? Isn't it obvious? The film queen just confirmed her real marriage. Holy crap. Makoto's profile page has been obliterated. Fake marriage certificate, fake products, and ruining people's faces. Breaking. Makoto has already been arrested. Endless lawsuits and compensation await him. I cleared my throat, breaking the silence. These days with everyone have been wonderful. Don't feel burdened. Just continue filming as usual. It's just that, for tonight's pairing, Willow and I will be together. Laughter and applause filled the room. Willow clung to me tightly, smiling radiantly under the cheers and blessings of the crowd, like she had just won a trophy 100 times more precious than any of her international film awards. I'm crying. This broken world owes me a Willow. She's so beautiful, I'm in love. Am I the only one who just got heartbroken? Me too, but it's so sweet. I'll take the sugar from this couple first. The following few episodes turned into a sugar-filled special of Willow and me. Help. The way Willow looks at George is so full of love. Another person replied, "You must be new here." We longtime viewers are already used to it. As more and more eyes fixed on me, my identity as the big boss of the Orange Cat group was exposed. Some people even recorded the confrontation that day between Makoto and me at the entrance of Orange. Cat Online opinions were overwhelmingly one-sided, mostly scolding Makoto for being vain and opportunistic, fawning on the powerful while stepping on the weak. Many were also shocked that, despite being the wealthy head of a conglomerate, I had remained so low-key. Now Makoto was thoroughly branded as a disgraced celebrity. Countless lawsuits and claims lined up against him. What awaited him was endless: downfall and poverty. More and more of his scandals were dug up, and everyone cursed him like a stray dog. Willow didn't even need to intervene. Makoto had dug his own grave. One evening, Willow held me close as we rewatched a live stream replay. When she saw the bullet comment, George always clout-chasing off Willow, she suddenly stood up. I patted her head gently to soothe her. "Wife, it's fine." Willow pressed tightly against my shoulder, lifted her phone with a click, and snapped a photo. "What is it?" I looked down at her. She opened her social media app and showed me the post she had just made. Most favorite thing to chase: my husband. Attached was the photo she had just taken. Within seconds, the comment section had piled up with thousands of replies, all crying over Willow's public display of affection. I pinched her cheek and asked, "Childish, aren't you?" Willow buried herself in my arms and said, "Not childish. I just can't let anyone bully you." The dating show soon reached its finale. At the wrap-up party, Willow wasn't there because of work. I pulled out my phone to call her. When I opened WeChat, I saw the pinned chat name shining brightly: "Dearest lovely wife." I turned the phone over in my hand. Yes, it was my phone. When had Willow changed it to that? I pressed the voice call button. Holding back for quite a while, I finally swallowed my embarrassment and said, "Dearest lovely wife, what time are you coming to pick me up?" From an important conference venue came an eruption of noise, followed by Willow's laughter-filled voice ringing clearly through the receiver. "Coming, hubby! Moi!